Today we will be seeing about flora under following headings. What are the different layers you see in the flora? And one more thing is pulmonary ligament, then tracings of flora, then we have pleural traces. At last, after that, nerve supply, arterial supply, and applied aspects. So basically, what is this pleura? Pleura is nothing but a serous sac which is lining the lungs. So in the early embryonic period, the lung bud invaginated into a serous sac. So in due course of time, this became the lungs, which are covered by double layered pleura. So looking at this diagram, you can see there are two layers in the pleura. So inner you have one layer, outside you have one layer. So what are these two layers? Inner one is called, which is closer to the lungs, this is called visceral layer, and outer one we are calling it as parietal layer. So parietal layer is covering the thoracic wall. If you see the different parts of this parietal pleura based on the regions where they are covering, you can again divide that into cervical pleura, which is related with the tip, or you can say apex of the lung, then mediastinal pleura, which is related with the mediastinal side of the lungs, then third one is the diaphragmatic pleura, and last one is the costal pleura. So based on this, you can easily say what are the where are they related. Cervical pleura is related with the apical part of the lungs. Mediastinal pleura is related with the mediastinal surface of the lungs. Diaphragmatic pleura is related inferiorly, where the lungs are separated from the abdominal cavity by diaphragm. And the fourth one is the costal pleura, which is lining the thoracic wall. So all these are nothing but the parietal pleura, which are named based on their location. So at one point, if you are seeing in this region, which is called the root of the lung, through which the structures enter into the lung and go out of the lung, at this point the visceral layer, which is the outermost part, parietal layer, which is the outermost part, and visceral layer, which is the innermost, are in continuation. This part is your root of the lung. So near the root of the lung, the visceral layer and the parietal layer of the pleura are in continuation with each other. So first we'll see briefly about this visceral layer. So visceral layer is very thin and it's adherent to the lungs, whereas the parietal layer, it's thicker compared to the visceral layer. So if you want to see this in other diagram, rub it off. So if you see the lungs in antero posterior, this is your right lung. So lining this closely adherent to the lungs. This is your inner lining, that is the visceral flora. Then here near the root of the lung, as I said before, the visceral and parietal flora are in continuation with each other, and this dotted line is your parietal flora, which is covering the mediastinal surface of the lungs, diaphragmatic surface, apical part of the lungs, and what lies outside the lungs, that is your thoracic cage. This is if you are seeing in an anterior-posterior view of your lungs. So this is superior, inferior. This will be the medial, and this is lateral. If you see the same thing in a transverse section, how it appears. So this is your lung. In the lungs, the anterior border is sharp and the posterior border is broad. So this is one right lung, one more thing is the left lung. So this will be a mediastinum. From the mediastinum, you have the structures entering and going out. So inner one is your visceral flora. Then near the root of the lung, these two are continuation with each other. The outer one is parietal flora. So this is if you are seeing in a cross section. So this will be anterior, posterior. So this is your right lung and this is your left lung. So in this, what are the different layers? Inner one is visceral, outer one is parietal. So what is the space between these two layers, visceral and parietal flora cord? This is your pleural cavity. So what is the function of this pleural cavity and everything? So the serous fluid which is present in the pleural cavity, that acts like a lubricant, and because of that these two visceral and parietal flora, they will be sliding over each other, and that helps in easy expansion of the lungs. Then coming back to your different parts of the parietal flora, that is your cervical, diaphragmatic, mediastinal. So other name for first thing is your cervical flora. So what will be here related with this apical part of the lungs is your first rib, and related with that you have one more thing, that is your clavicle. So related with these three, that is near the apex of the lung, we have cervical flora, that is part of your parietal flora itself. So it's related with structures related here will be something like anteriorly you have scalenus anterior muscle, medially you have the great vessels of the neck, laterally scalenus medius, and the posteriorly you have the neck of the first rib. So other name for the cervical flora is substance fascia. So this substance fascia you will be asked sometimes as a question in your exams. So what is the substance fascia and its relations? So that is your cervical flora. That is nothing but your parietal flora related with your apical part, or you can say apical upper part of uppermost part of your lungs. So above the substance fascia you have a membrane called suprapleural membrane. The next thing is this is the mediastinum, which will be lying in between the two lung cavities. So lining this you have this mediastinal pleura, which will be related with, in the midline we have the sternum. So related with this we have the costal cartilage. So this mediastinal pleura is related with the sternum and the costal cartilages. Then we have this thoracic pleura. Sorry, it's a costal pleura. So for that, if we are taking cross section, this is one lung, this is the other lung. So lining this, so this is your mediastinum. So related with this is your vertebrae with the ribs concerned. So lining this, thoracic cavity, this part is the costal pleura. So what are related with this costal pleura outside? We can see we have this ribs, in between the ribs intercostal spaces with the intercostal muscles and the nerves. So between this costal pleura and this intercostal space you have a loose areolar tissue called endothoracic fascia. The next thing, what's remaining? Cervical is over, mediastinal is over. The third and the fourth one is your diaphragmatic pleura. So for the diaphragmatic pleura, we will be seeing the inferior surface of your lung. So this is your lung. Below this is the diaphragm. This was your costal pleura. This is your diaphragmatic pleura. So this is your diaphragm. So related with the superior surface of the diaphragm, we are having this diaphragmatic pleura. So this is about your four types of the parietal pleura. What are they? Costal pleura, that is this thing. Then second thing is diaphragmatic pleura. Third one is this mediastinal pleura. Fourth one is your apical part, that is the cervical pleura. Other name of that is Simpson's fascia. Then near the root of the lung there is one more important thing, that is your pulmonary ligament. So basically what you find near the root of the lung is both your outer parietal layer and the inner visceral layer are in continuation with each other. So here if you are seeing this is something like your cuff of the jacket hanging down your wrist, and if this is your wrist part, so here you have structures entering into the lung, something like your bronchi, pulmonary veins and pulmonary arteries. So this is pulmonary ligament, which you will be seeing in relation with the root of the lung. So here you can see this pleura is overhanging down. This extension will go till the diaphragm. So what is the importance or functional significance of this pulmonary ligament and this space, this dead space? So whenever there is increased venous return, this pulmonary veins will be enlarged. So for this expansion we have some space. This dead space is provided by this pulmonary ligament. Apart from that, this is giving some additional space for this all structures to go up and down whenever you're inspiring and expiring. So that is pulmonary ligament, which is nothing but related with the root of the lung, that extends down till your diaphragm. The next thing is tracing of the pleura. Tracing of the pleura is nothing but surface markings of your pleura. So for that we will draw a simple diagram of how to trace it. Easy thing is, this is your sternum. So this is sternal angle. This is Ziffy sternal angle. So attached to this, making a joint with this, you have medial end of your clavicle. Below that, first rib near the sternal angle, second rib, followed by third, fourth, fifth, sixth and seventh. So what here we'll be seeing the tracings of your surface anatomy of the parietal pleura, different parietal, 4 types of parietal. So what are the cervical pleura, mediastinal, diaphragmatic, and your posterior lining of where this mediastinal and the costal pleura are shown. So first thing is markings of your cervical pleura, both on the right and the left. So you need to know 2 points. One point is this, that is your sternoclavicular joint, and other point is junction between the medial 1/3 and the middle 1/3 of the clavicle. So if you draw a curved line with convexity facing upwards, so this is your surface marking of your cervical. So point 1 is your sternoclavicular joint. Second point is the junction between the medial and middle 1/3 of your clavicle. So this is your right and left cervical pleura. Next thing is your anterior lining, that is where your thoracic or your costal pleura and your mediastinal pleura are joining. So on the right side, how it will be, you can extend this line from your sternoclavicular